Yeah.
Hello, Patrick. This is Observe What Is Sean Fitzgerald here.
Mm.
We're going to be doing the interview on South Africa then and now.
Yes.
I just want you to give me an introduction again. Just your name, your age,
Mm.
are you married, your occupation, and a little bit about yourself, Patrick.
Okay. My name is Patrick Khumalo, currently 34 years of age right now, and I'm not married yet, but I've got a life partner. I'm a very friendly person and like to get more ideas from different perspectives for me to grow. And yeah, work-wise, I'm not working. I'm still looking for a job, and I'm studying at the moment. I'm glad I'm going to do this interview with Sean. Got no
Thank,
problem.
thank you, Patrick. Okay, we're going to start with the first period. That was the period during the apartheid era when the white government ruled South Africa. Uh, what was it like for you then? Were you still very small?
Because especially around 80s and 90s, around 90s when I was beginning to be aware of what is happening politically in the country,
Okay.
even I was at primary level then. But personally, I didn't like what was happening, and when my mothers and fathers told us what was happening then, way back, 1980s down to the 50s, I felt so terrible.
How did your parents, what were your parents view at the time? How were they treated?
Yeah, they were not taken as human beings, and that was very disturbing to hear, especially in the workplaces when they were not even regarded as responsible fathers for their families. But treatment was terrible because of the government system then. And when they told us stories of what happened, because they were not literate, and they encourage us to take education seriously so that we can avert what they went through then.
Do you have some of the stories that what happened to your mom or your dad at that time? Is there anything that you can
The
remember?
one that worries me a
Yes,
lot,
yes, yeah, yeah.
yeah, when my father told me this story, because he was illiterate, at his work, the boss used to write the message in a small piece of paper, and they will tie that piece of paper around his neck.
Wow,
Yeah, it was written in Afrikaans language,
wow,
and he used to go to the other man. He was a messenger, and used to stand in front of the
wow.
other man, and the other man will read the message and laughed, and sometimes clap him and kick
Sure.
him.
Wow. Is
And
this your
he,
dad?
yes, my father, and he
My
didn't
goodness.
know what was happening. Yeah,
Wow.
and
Why do you think they did this, these white people? Why were they, why was it fear or was it, I mean, why did they, did you think that they actually believed what they were doing was right?
deep down in my heart, when I developed the picture of them, I see that it wasn't their intention, but they were taken by the atmosphere then at the time, because the government system was very separated. It wasn't inclusive, and yeah, yeah,
Do you, at that time, and I know maybe you can relay,
yes.
sorry, I'll just watch my time here. Maybe you can relay your parents, I mean, or maybe you had this experience at that time. What was it like? I mean, was everything separated? Were you allowed to walk around in the street in town?
No.
Can you elaborate a little bit on life then?
Yeah, there were certain places we were not allowed as Africans. That's what my father told me. Even if I didn't experience it because I was so young, I was enjoying going to town, we boarding on a taxi or a bus and seeing other peoples like the white people and even the Indian people because I was basically from Vryheid. You know, the Vryheid is a agricultural rural place where there is a lot of farming there by the white people there.
Mm.
So At the time, I wasn't aware, but my father and my mother knew what was happening because there were certain times they had to not to be at town.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you go to town, you are allowed certain time. Then maybe after 6 or after 5, you're not allowed to be there because you will be taken by the police and go to be detained.
They put you in jail.
No, I've never been
But they would put you. But they would
my
put
father
you.
the other day, yeah, he was detained because he was, I think, was coming from the Mpumalanga area,
Wow.
Emelo, and he arrived in Fryhead after 6 with no transport. Police came
And he had to. Now he sat in jail for a day or two.
Yeah, yes, yes.
And did they have? I know they spoke a lot, and I know that you see this in documentaries that you had to have like a passport.
Yeah, the pass. They call it a dom pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Dom
even
pass.
yeah.
I mean that's terrible. I mean that's
Yes.
like stupid pass.
Yes,
For a
yes,
person.
yes. That's what it was called, dom pass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did your mom and dad carry those things?
Yes, they said they used to carry those things.
And they were allowed out and provided you could they travel to other provinces?
You had to have a special permission to travel to Transvaal or Orange Free State, or the people from that side coming here in Natal.
Mm.
Yeah.
Were they scared of the police?
Very much.
Must have been.
Yeah, very much.
And the police, were the police compassionate sometimes, or were they always hard on people?
I think the police were very brutal in terms of going about their jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, whenever there was a police van coming to our area, we knew trouble would start, and we were just gonna be collected and hide away. Yeah.
Your mom and dad still alive?
They both passed away,
Both
unfortunately, in 2004, 2005.
Were they? They must have been angry about this. They must have been. Were they angry? I mean,
yeah, especially my father.
Your father?
Yes, because I remember him telling me the other day that we must, as his kids, 3 of us at our house, we must try by all means to listen to the teachers at school so that we can get better education. Wow. Because he didn't get education and he was earning peanuts at work, so he couldn't raise us the proper way.
Yes.
Yeah, we were battling nowadays, and he blames it on the government of the day. The
white government.
Yeah, but eventually he said there's nothing they could do because they were hearing on radio about all these African political leaders, but they had no chance to participate because they were illiterate and they had to work.
Your dad, what did he do? What was he?
He was working in a construction industry.
Was he a laborer, or was he
a manual labor?
Manual labor. Were they no? I mean, obviously with no education. I mean, were there any blacks that actually had positions of management or authority?
Very few, because he said the only African guys who were much better in terms of position were the clerks. Anything above the clerks was just the
no good taboo.
And yes. Doesn't matter how well educated they were in his construction industry. Yes.
Does your mom, what did she do?
Domestic worker, because she had standard 4 education.
She had no option. Were these schools available? Were they able to go to schools, or were they just not? Were the people, your mom and dad, were they just not educated?
My father totally never went to school.
Was this because of his choice, or because
he had no choice, because they were living on a farm?
Okay.
They had to work on a farm to live there. Okay. It's like what we call the federal system, where you live in an area because you work there.
Okay. Yeah. So he had no. What you're saying, and if I'm correct, he worked on a farm. So because he had to work there as a
Yeah.
labor, he had no education. He couldn't get
Yes.
educated.
Couldn't get education.
So they didn't worry about those
No.
people that worked on those farms. They were just there for labor. Is that what you're saying? I just want to be
Yes.
clear.
No concern for education or better health facilities for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he
And,
was just doomed. He was
Yes.
doomed
Yes.
to nothing. And your mom is a domestic worker. She
Yeah.
had no education.
She had standard 4 education. She had to drop out because the school was too far away.
She couldn't get there.
She couldn't get there.
My goodness gracious.
And on the farm where my father lived,
Mhm.
they were not allowed. You know, the farm owner sometimes will
Mhm.
have like 1,000 cattle.
Mhm.
There was a certain limit for African people in terms of stock. Like you were not allowed to have more than 20 cows on the farm.
Is this yours? Would you say this would be the African or the black farm that you were allowed to have? You couldn't have more than
No, as laborers on the farm.
Yes.
Because they were working for the farm owner.
Yes.
And then the farm owner, especially most of them,
Yeah.
used to have this rule that you can't have so much cattle. You have to keep to a
Is that the
certain
farmer, the
limit.
white farmer wasn't
Yes, the
allowed?
white farmer. The
Oh.
white farmer could have any cattle, any
But
amount.
you're talking about the black farmer.
But the black people.
Could you own stuff? Could they own things? Could they own cars and stuff? I mean, they could
No,
buy. No.
no. I think my father said you had to report to the farm owner that you're gonna buy a car.
Wow.
And what you're gonna use it for.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Doesn't it show how times sort of changed when you think about that?
Yeah, a lot has changed.
You had to. So what you're saying is he had to, if he wanted to buy a car, which he
Yeah.
obviously couldn't afford because I mean
Yeah.
he probably didn't earn enough.
Yes.
He had to report that he was going to buy it and what he was going to use it.
And where did he get the money from?
Wow.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to ask just this one last thing on this period. Were your parents alive in the transition when Mandela and Nelson Mandela came to power? Were they around?
Yes, they were around.
Were they happy with that transition?
They were happy considering what they went through, but at the same time, they were anxious to see what is going to happen now.
Right.
Because most people were expecting manna to come from heaven.
I suppose now with having nothing,
yeah,
and then the new government changing, people is expecting, well, now I have nothing now. You need to now rectify that.
Because some of the people, they say, no, man, it was better in the olden days because we were not suffering like we're suffering now.
Okay, I'm going to get to that period. Thank you, Patrick. Now, anything else on that apartheid period that you want to add for the viewers? Anything you have to say?
Yeah, I think it was very bad. It was very bad. And I don't think God was happy about it because I was told it was everywhere, in churches, in schools, everywhere in society. And yeah, that's all I can say. It wasn't good at all. And it did have a tremendous damage in terms of mental thinking of people.
Sure.
And yeah.
I mean, I interviewed a gentleman the other day, and I was just talking to him, and he said that, today's people, the young people today, is okay for them, but his generation, your mom and dad, they missed that whole youth of theirs is gone.
Yes.
Their opportunity is gone. They weren't educated. There's no chance for them to. So it's just it's like a whole part of your life is missing. I want to start with the second period now. This is South Africa as of now. How is it for you now? Is it better?
In terms of the government system, it's better because there are no restrictions now. But on the bread and butter issues, it's worse.
Can you explain?
Because I think during the transition, people were not prepared mentally and emotionally for what is coming. The new dispensation means opportunities, equal opportunities for everyone. We've got people who've got talents, some have got skills, some are well educated, and you can do anything to survive for as long as it's not in contrast with law and the skills transfer. was a problem. So that is where I think there was a gap in transition time. And socially, you know, the social ills we are going through: crime, house breakings, robbery. Yeah, that is not good. It is not, and that's what makes people feel very unsafe.
Would you say that, and I know if I'm hearing you right here in my words, would you say that when the new country came about, you know, with Mandela and the new dispensation, that they wanted too much too quickly?
Yes, they were expecting too much quickly. I think I can blame the...
But that's natural.
Yes.
I mean, it's natural for having nothing.
Yes, right? When you have nothing and now you're going through a transition, you expect
want
miracles.
Yeah, yeah.
You expect miracles.
Yeah.
But according to me, it was the duty of the leaders then, Mandela, Buthelezis, and all that, to prepare the people mentally, because they knew it's not going to be hunky-dory, rosy and hunky-dory very easy, quickly.
Are people still angry today about the past?
Yes.
And about, let's start with the past. Are people still angry about what happened to them under the white government?
Yes, very few I know are still angry because they lost out on a big opportunity. Some were still
the older generation.
The older generation.
And the younger generation? Do they have any anger?
The younger generation, they don't have anger, according to me. 80% of them don't have anger, except to blame apartheid. But for them now, it's like we are in the land of honey and milk with limited resources.
Limited resources.
Yes.
Tell me something, and I want to ask you this here today. Let's talk frankly here. Do the whites still practice apartheid today? But there's no law. Do the whites still practice it?
Most of them, according to my personal view, have changed, except the old stubborn, yes, who still hold the older view, like especially at workplace. You find some guys that they were grown this way, like talking to you. When they talk to you, they will be very rude to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me something. But I mean, I know I like to delve on this because do you think that some whites today is just pretending to be?
No.
Or do you think whites generally are accepting of the new South Africa as it is? Do you think
they are accepting? I don't think they will be pretending. Most of them, of which I know and I've worked with, they are accepting of the current dispensation, and they are willing to share their skills and expertise in terms of
Do you mix with the other race groups? Indian, white, Indian, you know, the other disadvantaged colored and Indian, do you mix with them? Is there animosity with them?
Personally, no, but sometimes I am very worried of some of them.
Well, explain to me why.
Because now it comes to culture.
Okay.
Like the Indian nation and the Muslim nation. Okay. Yes. I'm worried, not in a negative way, like when I come to your house, you expect me to behave in a certain manner. Okay. That's where I'm...
Did the Indians have it easier than the colors? Did they have it easier than the blacks in the apartheid area? Did they have life easier, or was it the same?
I think it's a mixture now. Because before you find some Indians who were benefiting on the previous dispensation, and some were also suffering. I think it depended much on who they know, who did they associate themselves with. Because currently we have those Indians who are benefiting from the country's resources due to new dispensation, as well as Africans and everyone.
Yes. Would you, would you marry a white woman?
Based on my culture and religion, no.
or Indian or colored?
No, I won't.
You would never marry them?
Nothing sinister about that, I won't.
Just because of your culture and your upbringing?
Yes, I won't. Because we have got this culture, to take generations with this same
But it does
skin.
happen. We see it happening.
It does happen. I don't have a problem with that.
You don't have a
Some
problem.
people do it, and but personally, no, I won't. Because I still believe in my culture, and I still believe in religion.
Now, Patrick, is the government on the right path? Are they heading in the right? Is Jake? I won't say Mr. Zuma, but I mean,
Yes.
is the government, anti-government, going in the right direction?
Yes. I will say, on paper, they are going and they are still on the right path. But on the actual situation, it's not. One, corruption. Two, and the will to help the people is not there.
The will? Can you
Yes,
explain?
the political will. When you are a leader, you have to possess a will, that inborn eagerness.
And it's not there.
It's not there any now. It's all about self-enrichment.
Do you think that was Mandela had that, and then the leaders have just sort of
They've just deteriorated.
Deteriorated. Okay, I
Yes,
suppose
yes,
it's,
yes,
yes. Would you change anything in South Africa?
I will change quite a lot.
Give me some, just briefly, just some things that you change if you were in charge.
If let's say starting,
and also anything else that you want to add for the youth.
in the government, the people the MPs we elect through the voting system, I will put a requirement there, like what have they done to get into parliament? What have you done first in your constituency or in your ward before you go to parliament? Because you find some people that have never worked with the community at the grassroots level, and they want to be there at parliament and only just to talk and do nothing for the people. Because I believe if you are there in parliament, it doesn't matter you black or white, you are there for your local people, your constituents, where you come from. So according to me, I will change that if maybe you've done 75% work on your constituency, then you are eligible to go to parliament. Secondly, I will put an age restrictions on the parliamentarians.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe around 75 or 70.
When
you are above that, you are eligible for pension.
Still be alive then?
Leave the space for other people.
Oh, you mean at 70 they must move on?
Move on.
Okay,
yes.
100%.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
some few laws that I can change.
Okay, brilliant.
Yes.
And anything, just briefly now, we're right out of time. Anything else on this period? On this period, the second period, the New South Africa. Anything you want to give to the viewers? Some advice on the New South Africa.
Yeah, is to take advantages of whatever opportunities come our way. Doesn't matter you black or white. Use it to your maximum potential. Like now we've got learnerships, we've got incubator programs for small businesses. When you start a small business, let's take advantage of those opportunities, and in a few years' time, we will reap the rewards. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Wonderful. The interview's over. Won't you hit the red button there? Tell me when it's off. Oh. No, that's fine. Is it off?